What's up, y'all? So this video is called You Need to Build a Prototype of Your Dream Life. And the reason why I'm making this video is because I feel like there is an importance in really taking the time to build a capsule of the things that make you fulfilled in a long-term and a day-to-day sense, and do your best to sort of even out the equation of what you're willing to bend for or adjust on and what you're willing to be stubborn about and make the world bend around you in order to build what is a prototype of the dream life. Something that when you wake up, you're grateful for it, where small things bring you a sense of fulfillment, where you're constantly building towards whatever you've discovered is a passion or a craft or a talent of yours that you want to cultivate and see explored on a higher level. And that could be external, like you want a certain stage or you want a certain type of audience or a level of notoriety. But it also could be the quality of your execution. Like you just want to be a masterful craftsman in whatever you want to build, no matter if you're known for it or not. And so at the top of this year, which is crazy how kind of both fast and slow this year has gone, but at the top of this year, I found myself being rushed mentally. And I've had it, I think we have it our whole lives where it's like we sort of feel these artificial deadlines of trying to achieve something. By age this, I need to do this, and by age 30, or, if I don't do this by then, it's over. And I think I've noticed what for me feels like a drop-off point where people don't. This is a bit more of a side note, but I've noticed that as you get older, I don't really see people have crafts and stuff that they keep up throughout their lifetime. And I think a big thing for that is because we have such an all or nothing mentality when it comes to a talent that if you're not at the highest level by a certain age, or you're not making headways, or you're not making your whole career, then it doesn't feel worth doing. And so I had these conversations with myself at the top of the year because I was like, why does 30 feel like a deadline for me? Why does that age around that time feel like a deadline for me? And I really had to ask myself, like, are there certain things that the question I asked was, if I don't achieve what the goals that I have for myself by this time, does that make the goals meaningless? And I had to really ask that. I was really prepared for it to be a certain type of yes, because then I could be honest and adjust from there. But when I really went deep into myself, I was like, no, maybe a sense of pride of wanting to have a certain age associated with this craft. But even as I've done this self-improvement work, getting my mind, body, all things right, when you start to do these things, especially the earliest you can, you realize how much more life you have ahead of you, even if it's 10 years. But you're going into those 10 years with a perception or understanding of the quality that you can have if you're willing to work at whatever you want to work on. And so for me, I was like, well, first of all, even if I do achieve it then, what happens after? Because I've achieved a couple things at enough of a level where I've seen how much of a moment it is. You achieve the thing, you experience it, maybe some people congratulate you, you might have a nice dinner for it, but then life continues. And it's not to dismiss working towards something at all. It's more to give you the perspective of, well, two things, meant to be positive. One, moments are milestones on the journey. But as people say, 20% of the journey is gonna be the rewards you face. 80% is you actually just walking the path and building. It's a lot of the monotony, and monotony doesn't have to be bad, but it's a repetitive work you do to build that goal. So most of your journey is going to be walking or experiencing failures and crafts. Why not make it or incorporate it into a part of your life where it doesn't have to be an all or nothing scenario? Why not just enjoy the journey? Why not cruise control it and have your moments where you hit 90 miles on the gas and make it a daily part of your life? So then once I realized that there was no time limit on a legacy, there's no sort of expectation, right? Especially for the things that I want to create. Now, if you're doing things that may be more physical, there still might be some limitation, but I don't even think it's as much as we think. Nowadays, with how much health information is out there, with the importance of doing things holistically, like if you're gonna weight lift, do yoga. If you're gonna do martial arts, make sure your mind is right. Make sure you're thinking methodologically about your long-term sustainability. And the fact that even if you get to the high level, people still have jobs anyways. If you look at, say, the UFC, a lot of these guys, and which is unfortunate, they should be paid well, especially for what they're putting on the line for. But if this is the reality, that even people at the highest level, even in the Olympics, right, they still have to work jobs, then why not build your craft alongside of the work? I think a lot of people go into dream building with a flip mentality of, I will do whatever it takes, but it's more of a short-term thing, and I'll take all these hodgepodge jobs to make it work, which is still viable. But I think nowadays, as we're realizing how much more time and flexibility we can do with things, with the rise of remote work and freelancing, I think there's a much more sustainable path that can be built where you incorporate your dream as a part of your life and extend the timeline by 5-10 years, which requires a different level of discipline. I think it can be almost as rare as someone going all out for a dream and saying, I'm gonna make it happen in 3 to 5 years, and I'm gonna do nothing but this dream. But I think that when you start to ask the questions of yourself on a minute level as well, right? All I just talked about was legacy stuff. What makes you happy on a day-to-day basis? Do you like waking up early? Is it certain foods? Do you like having conversations or certain types of conversations with people? Is there a certain weather that makes you feel more happy? Like, I know for me, I love warmer weather. I know that it affects my mentality and my exuberance, and I honestly can get less sleep if it's summertime, versus for other people, cold is better for them, right? And so they prefer things when it's more nippy or, more aesthetically. They love their fashion in the fall, so they prefer it when it's colder because they can wear layers and, get like their nice boots out. And so these little things are way more customizable, but add to our daily bank of energy, happiness, and fulfillment. And to be clear, if anyone is not sure, happiness is a choice. It is a mind state. It is not an objective reality, because what makes you happy might make someone else miserable. And so it is really based on your perception about your world. There's a really great book called Psycho-Cybernetics. I forget the author's name, but I'll probably put it up somewhere here. And it really does get into how to really take control of your mind and really own it and kind of master it and tame it as you would a wild horse. But one of the biggest sections that I took from it was there are literally exercises of what you can tap into and connect to a sense of fulfillment. And I think by doing these things on a smaller level, like I know for me, I love a great philosophical conversation. And I also love connecting with people that I enjoy. So whether it be a martial arts coach or a friend or family member, I also find that I can stack and layer these things together where I have a conversation with someone I care about or I love, and then it's also about something interesting to me. Like, I love learning. So I know if I'm doing that at least a couple times a week, then I get a sense of fulfillment naturally that doesn't require me to do big things to make that work. I also love being active. I know for myself, if I'm not in the gym or at least consistently working on my back, especially being in front of a computer, so I find that it's important for me to keep my body and my health. Oh yeah, rush hour. But this is what I'm talking about. The little things on a day-to-day basis will allow you to then build a sense of patience and resilience against the day-to-day stuff. So while you're on the path to building something bigger that might be a full dream, you can have a bank of energy that allows you to be more patient with yourself. You can be in a more consistent state of bliss and really be kind of buffered from the bullshit of the day-to-day life. If you start to really do the work to make a prototype of your life from big and small, I love smoothies. If I drink a smoothie, man, it's a little cup of joy in my life. And that's not crazy. It's not hard, it's not expensive. Most people can afford little things like that. And I think by having those things consistently in your life, whether it be conversations or you like to dance or you love going to the boxing gym, or writing really helps you bring clarity to your life, or you really want time to play video games. As long as you have an hour or two a week to play the new whatever game you want to play, UFC, Assassin's Creed, whatever. It's a little pocket of joy for you. And I think mixing things of sustainable things and things that are just more pleasurable alongside building a dream piecemeal at a time, one bit at a time, allows you to build a prototype for yourself where you're constantly fulfilled. Or at least the last time you were fulfilled was probably a couple days ago. And so I think oftentimes we're very much in an all or nothing mind state where if it ain't the dream, it's not worth anything. But I think we'd be surprised how much a 10 to 20% improvement in our lives and our mind state can really impact our perspective of our reality and also our connection to happiness, which exists inside us. So yeah, subscribe and leave a comment if you want to share anything or if you have any ideas or any elaborations on what I talked about. But I hope you have a great day. Peace.